What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica, honey, and we are down here to talk about Real Housewives of New Jersey, right? And overall, I thought the first episode was okay, right? It's like whatever. I'm not expecting anything explosive, honestly. I think what's odd, like I was saying on Twitter, I think it's really odd that there are groups of people or individuals, I'll say, who get online with these weird ass like opinions about the show, and they're like their takes on New Jersey, and I'm just like, I feel like I don't know what the word, I guess it is, I think it manipulation where you intentionally act like you're not smart in order to create a story about a narrative. I hate that word narrative. I need to find another word. The story about Teresa and them. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. Like, and people acting like what you've seen them go through on TV, the edited version of it. And honestly, shout out to y'all, because outside of the show, I don't look for anything. I don't, unless it's on the show and I'm like, was that for real? And I'll go look it up. But in order to, like, some people are like, you need to get your story straight. No, I don't. I only watch the show, and if I see something on the blogs, maybe get down in the comments or whatever. But like the extra stories about them, like the local news about them, I don't follow, right? And if a blog picks it up, I might see it, but I go by what's on the TV. And when y'all say the weirdest things, like they act like we haven't been watching for the last 10 years. You have no idea what their relationship was like before they came onto the show. What we can say is what it looks like is these two people her brother and sister-in-law were begging to get on the show. She even mentioned it at the end, and that's what Margaret was saying. The I forgive but never forget. No, Teresa and Melissa chimed in. No, neither one of y'all have forgotten, and neither one of y'all have forgiven. And it's weird to assume that even though Teresa says it's not true, you're a liar, this and that, that's not what happened. No. Everything Melissa says about Teresa is no, it's no, that's not it. And then she's always like, they never did this for me. They never did this with me. They never did this with me. And I'm like, girl, what is this thing that you feel like something needs to be done for you or done with you, when it's clear you do not have the relationship with your brother that anybody would expect him to just do stuff for you, right? Like, y'all don't have the relationship that you try to smile through and act like y'all have. It's been like this for years. I think another thing is what Joe and Teresa, I don't know I feel like it's more so, no, I feel like they both do it, where things happen off camera and y'all make agreements not to talk about it. Because several times in the season, Joe, he mentioned Dina's husband was not supposed to mention that they had a relationship because he doesn't want his name mentioned on the show. That's one. And then Teresa with the pizza box, skinny Italian pizza kitchen or whatever. Bitch, I'm sure she probably told Louis, listen, I'm the one with the cookbooks. I'm the one that should be coming out with a pizza kitchen. He don't need to come out with no pizza kitchen. So let's just do it. Just forget about it. Let's just do it. Let's take shots. Because he said, oh, okay, well, Teresa said, well, we weren't supposed to talk about that. So they are putting up a front for these people and acting like they need to get along, and they don't get along. And the constant story about them, like what Teresa is doing, what Melissa is doing. They did not get along before they came on the show. And Teresa was giving, I don't want this girl on my show. I've been here longer, so I can say it was it was a setup question. Girl, what? Like, it's like, are you okay, Teresa? And then for people to sit online and be like, yes, Teresa ate her up. Girl, no, she didn't. Jennifer is looking terrible. Not physically looking terrible, but like, as soon as Teresa, I mean, they back each other up. That's fine. I mean, they're friends or whatever. But it does seem like Teresa is looking at this as like a versus. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go with all these cars. Are all the lights? I'm probably gonna. Girl, leave me alone. I forgot what I was saying. We'll get to the review, because I was just like, y'all are delusional. And it's like, do you agree? Are you agreeing? Like, are you agreeing with like the stances that Teresa comes up with because you like her, or are you agreeing because you feel like that's true? Because ain't no way. Especially, I loved when Melissa got her with the photos. Oh, that was another night. Girl, shut up. It's always somebody doing something to Teresa. And I'm trying to figure out, what the F does Joe Gorga and Melissa owe you? Oh, you think they owe you because they came on your show. I've been your storyline. Girl, your family dynamic has been everybody's storyline. The Manzo family dynamic was their storyline, but they got off the show. They didn't want all their business in the street. And then for Teresa to be like, I sat with Jackie Larita, girl. You and Jackie sat down and now you believe everything Jackie got to say about Melissa, girl. Shut up. I believe you called the FBI. You believe they put you in jail. You believe your brother and your sister-in-law put you in jail. Or told on you. Or said y'all was doing fraud down to the real estate, girl. It was Melissa and Joe. Shit, it might have been. And so what? Y'all are acting like brother and sister, like y'all have this tight relationship. Y'all didn't have a tight relationship coming onto the show. So for us to be sitting here 10 years later trying to get Teresa and Joe to be brother and sister, like this, like, oh, we want to be this traditional Italian family. From what I hear, it's a lot of people not speaking to each other in families that happen to be Italian. Like, a lot of what, as you can see, we have another example coming up with Danielle and her brother. Oh, and New Jersey just so happens to be his favorite show, and now his sister is on the show, and his sister and him have a dynamic like Teresa and Joe. What? With their mama and the daddy crying. Girl, y'all are a trip. I don't understand what y'all be seeing. I'm like, are y'all delusional for real? Or are y'all delusional, like, are y'all just playing delusional because you like Teresa? Teresa did look cute. Her hair was cute. I thought that outfit was cute. The piece of material in the back she could have done without. And I really believe that Teresa, I think I said this on Twitter. I don't know if I sent it, but I really feel like Teresa is like, to me, the epitome of that meme where it's a little dog with a coffee cup and a table, and he has a little hat on. I think he has a hat on, and there's fire all around him, and he's like, everything's fine. Everything's fine. I feel like every single time, I think Teresa wants to live in a realm of delusion, and I feel like Joe and Melissa kind of They don't allow it. They don't allow her to live in the delusion. Like I feel like she wants to be able to say, I don't have family. Nobody supports me. They never did this for me. And this, and then like literally nobody question it. So I feel like in Teresa's story that she wants to tell, that Melissa and Joe, they mess that up. Like they are the interlopers to her delusion, and she can't be delusional if they still are on the show. I'm so glad that Andy says, what do you want the outcome to be? Like, what do you want the goal, right? And Teresa says, I want this to be the end. The chapter is closed. I want this to be the end of it. And he was like, yeah, like no matter what it looks like. And she's like, yeah, no matter what it looks like, I want it to be done. And I'm really glad that she said that. I'm so happy. And I really hope that Louis helps her stick to that. I really hope she sticks to closing the chapter between Melissa and Joe, because the truth is, you do not have to be close to your siblings. And for them to be like, oh, we need the siblings to work it out. There are thousands and millions of people who do not have relationships with their siblings for whatever the reason. And for us to be sitting here trying to get what looks to be toxic, trying to get them together for the sake of the family. Girl, shut up. So you want to say, I don't have a family, this and that. I went back and looked at and watched season 3. I'm not finished. I'm like towards the end because they had like almost 20 episodes. But I'm at the end. But throughout that time, it's clear that Teresa has been upset since her family came on the show. Kathy, Wakili, and Rosie, they came on too, and then we may not have even known that Nono and his sister hadn't spoken in I don't know how many years, had the rest of the family not been on the show to tell their version of the story. Because Teresa is going to tell a different version, and it's the everything is fine, and it's the I was done wrong. They've never done this for me. And it's crazy. It's crazy. So I really hope that she is for real when she says that she's done. She wants the chapter to be over. And I hope that she really sticks to that. Before they start taping, Joe Giudice calls and asks, the way he gets on the phone, I was like, he didn't even say hello. She was like, yeah. He was like, yo, Tree, ask Jennifer if her husband Bill does bags under the eyes. And then she's like, we're taping this and that. I'm like, can he at least say hello? And then Andy spoke to him for a second, and then he got off the phone. And then they restarted. Jennifer says she woke up with a stiff neck. That's why she's looking stupid. I feel bad for Jennifer because she came in hot. And I feel like when you position yourself as the flunky to the village idiot, it's like, it's not going to be a good look. All her little things are little clapbacks, things she was saying. She was quiet for the most part. But when she said something, it didn't land. I was like, ooh, Laura is giving you duds, girl. She's giving you duds. Like, nothing you're saying is like, I don't need endorsements. I'm dripped in Chanel. Andy, you don't have endorsements because you don't need them. Andy was like, what you talking about, girl? I love my endorsements, girl. It's like, it didn't fall the way you wanted to. She says, well, I don't need endorsements. Because Margaret was basically trying to say Danielle has come on the show. She has endorsements. Come on, endorsements. And this is her first season, so she's really doing good. She was about to say, unlike other people. And yes, I was a dig at Jennifer. Because if you are literally putting all your eggs in the Bill Aiden basket, girl, God bless. Because I guess, everybody thinks their experience is going to be different. A lot of people think that will never happen to them, but I think just in Real Housewives history, just in that little bubble, we see how the story goes, right? And when you don't make a platform for yourself, it's not a good look. It doesn't end up being a good look when it's all said and done. So, hopefully she starts to get some endorsements, honey, because I don't think Chanel is endorsing you, girl. Okay. Hmm. What's the goal? Close the chapter, move forward. I wish her well, and what's the girl's name? Melissa says, I want the truth to come out. And I think basically the truth is like just shattering this delusional force field that Teresa has over her. It's weird the things like she literally comes up with, and then you say something, in retort, and she's like, well, she tries to switch it up. Like when she said that Joe Gorga brought Louis to the show. I didn't want him being brought to the show. Okay, if you didn't want him being brought to the show, there's no way that Joe Gorga could have brought him on the show without you wanting him to be on the show, one, and that Louis doesn't want to be on the show because just like Andy suggested for Dina to do, you don't have to sign a release. We don't have to show your face. And that's the other part of it, is that these people complain about what comes on TV, but y'all keep showing up every season. You keep showing up every season. Just like when she said, this is the last time we're gonna talk about this because you're gonna be out of here. I think that's what Teresa said to Melissa. Melissa goes, where are you going? Because Melissa basically said, bitch, I'm not going nowhere. I'm on this show, honey. Where are you going? You're gonna be gone. Andy said, oh, is that basically, is that what y'all doing? Y'all think this is going to be the end for somebody? And then Andy basically said, well, we'll see when we get to the end. And then Melissa goes, yeah, I guess I got a few hours left. Girl, it's a mess. How's the love bubble holding up? She said it's been the hardest thing because her family, Melissa and Joe, are hurting Louis. Girl, fuck Louis. Who the fuck is Louis? We just met this motherfucker, and from the sounds of it, bitch, he knew you, and you're a damn scheme. He didn't set up a scheme, honey, to meet you. Because you even said that his sister told him, oh, she's a good one. She's a good girl. And I think it is hilarious that he tried to talk to Alexia before trying to talk to Teresa, because we have been saying that Alexia, the levels of delusion that she resides in, is the same place where Teresa lives. Like they're two of the, with that stupid look on their face, thinking they could say whatever, no accountability whatsoever, a little bit of self-centeredness. Louis has a type. It's so funny that we say that Teresa is Alexia and Alexia is Teresa, and Louis tried to talk to Alexia. I think that is hilarious. So we need Alexia to confirm that, because that's what Melissa said, and then Margaret was like, yeah, that's true. And then Teresa was like, you're a liar, right? Even if it was true. And that's the one thing that I observed in like a narcissist's behavior is every single observation you have, every single opinion you have about what you just saw, they're going to be like, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's not it. You're a liar. Like it's nothing, right? I'm going to get to the part where she injects Joe in. Well, I already talked about it a little bit, where she said that Joe brought Louis to the show, and Louis doesn't want to be on the show. And Melissa said that when they were on their girls trip, Louis was telling Joe, let's go down to see the girls. Let's go down to see the girls, because he wants to be on TV. And and then knowing the fact that like you're meeting him, I don't believe it was happenstance. I don't believe it was like, oh, we just met each other. Like, who introduced Louis to Teresa? Y'all tell me in the comments, because I need to know. Let's act like Beverly Hills. Let's speak at one at a time. She was like, honey, this is not Beverly Hills. And I don't know why y'all think they be hollering and screaming on Beverly Hills too. So I don't know what y'all trying to assign a certain behavior as if y'all don't all exhibit the same damn behaviors. You all do all that hollering and screaming and stuff. Andy is not, he's not just yelling at y'all and Atlanta. He yells at everybody because all y'all do is talk over each other. It's because they're hurting Louis. And I remember this is the second time I remember Melissa saying that when it was time to meet family, that Louis met Melissa's family. I remember her saying that, and then she mentioned it again here on the reunion. Teresa didn't say anything about that. She was like, what are you talking about? But I guess that when it was time to meet family, he met Melissa's family because it's just Joe and Teresa. So he met Melissa's family. You needed us back then. Why did Dina back out? She said, one, that she didn't want to be on camera, and two, she didn't want people to know she was in New Jersey. And that's when Andy said she didn't have to sign a release. She didn't even have to have a mic on. Like, she could have been just somebody in the background. Oh, did you see Dina? You know, and then said, I don't see y'all hanging out like y'all used to. Is everything fine? I just so happened to see, now see, this is what I'm talking about. I just so happened to see on the blogs that Dina said that her and Teresa were never not friends. They're still cool. So we're not talking about y'all. We're talking about Louis and the husbands, right? So we can play that game where we think we're talking about y'all to his girlfriends, but the bad business deal was between Louis and the husband, but Teresa said there was no bad business deals. So I guess that was something that we were not supposed to bring up on camera. Right? Okay. And then she goes, when Joe was away, she jumps all the way back to when Joe was in jail. When Joe was away, Melissa and Joey never invited her out to dinner. Melissa said that's not true. You went out to dinner with us plenty of times. She said, no, they never invited me out to dinner. They never invited me out to dinner. And then she said, yes, we did. Remember with Shane and blah, blah, blah. She's like, I have photos. Oh, if you have photos, I'd like to see them. Honey, they flashed 2 photos with, it looks like some people sitting at a dinner table. And what do you know? Teresa's sitting right there to what I assume is Shane, because in the second picture, he was next to her again. Right. She said, "Oh, that was another night." And then she said, "This is when I said y'all, when y'all defend her, y'all are literally, it just is so weird to me." But anyway, she goes, that was the other night." And then she goes, "Listen, I must have invited myself because they've never invited me out to dinner." Andy says, "Sound like she's naming the times that she has invited you out to dinner." She goes, "No, she never. I must have invited myself because they would never invite me." She wants to be able to say those things. I guess, I don't know. I guess she wants to be a victim in the delusion of her relationship with her brother. I guess she wants to be the victim. And so you keep saying these different things, and then when somebody comes back and proves you wrong, no, it was the other time, or no, I must have invited myself. And it's like, in order to hold on to this lie, you're just going to say anything. I must have invited myself. They never invited me. We showed you pictures. What are you talking about? And that's why Melissa kept saying, Teresa, you're going to have to stop this. Like, the shtick that you have, it's going to have to stop. This thing where, oh my God, my family's doing me so wrong and I'm doing everything in my power to keep my family together. That's not true. It's just simply not true. My children don't have hate in their heart for Melissa. That's only a question for them. You don't know what's in their heart. But based on us being told every time somebody lends an ear to you that Melissa and Joe, they never did this, they never did that, they never did this, they didn't do this, they didn't do this. And I'm imagining that Gia, Melania, Adriana and Gabriella have heard that their entire life. So they may not have hate in their heart, but they are definitely biased to their mom. And they're going to act like, even though that's what when I saw that clip of Gia, when she was like, just wow. I was like, oh my God, that's exactly her mother. Like, that's the shit that her mother says. And I'm thinking, these younger girls are going to grow up and they are going to be able to see objectively, but you can't. You can't look at this situation from their point of view and like believe Melissa or like Melissa. And I was hoping that Gia and them would grow up and be like, y'all, this ain't right. But it just seems like everything that they've been told for forever, they've internalized that. And they're not going to like Melissa. And the truth is, if your mom was talking about her sister, her sister-in-law, sister, brother, whoever, all the time, talking about them all the time, she's painting a picture for you. So by the time you get old enough to think on your own, you already have this picture painted of your aunt, and your aunt is just this awful person because she never did this with your mom, and your uncle never did this, and they never did this, and they never did this, and they didn't do this. And it's just like, they're going to be looking at her crazy. So they may not have hate in their heart, but I'm sure they definitely have a severe bias against Melissa. Because, girl, you've done my mom wrong. Every story that she's told us, you've done her wrong. You've never done right by my mother. You know what's funny? We ran into each other and y'all gave the impression that y'all were hanging out and getting along. This is what Andy said to Teresa. And she was like, I know, but Joe brought him on the show. Joe brought Louis on the show, and that's what messed up the relationship. I thought y'all was doing good. Just anything. It's all about the show. I introduced him, and Joe brought him on the show. I didn't want him on the show yet. And it's all about the show. It's all about the money, right, Melissa? Right? And Melissa goes like, what are you talking about? He told Joe, let's go get on the show. I guess crash the girls' trip. So he wants to be on TV. No, he doesn't. If Louis did not want to be on TV, he wouldn't be on TV. I think Louis loves being on TV. I think he loves being on TV, okay? Just like he knew you when he met you. That's what Melissa said. And he knows Alexia too. Stop doing this, Teresa. She says, oh, you're leaving. She says, oh, I am. And he says, I guess we'll know at the end of the night. He says, okay, so if she's off of the show, will she be out of your life like forever? And Teresa said, definitely. So I hope that is what's happening. Okay. Why were you crying, Marge, at the wedding? Why were you so damn emotional? She was like, it was emotional. She looked nice. She was walking by herself. It was bittersweet. Yeah, nobody walked her. I was like, oh my God. And I'm kind of glad that Melissa and Joe didn't go and like be fake about it, right? Because y'all are not getting along. Why are you here? Like, I think that's the part where people get these, you feel obligated to do something because you're related, you're blood related, you're relatives. You feel like you're obligated to do these things. And when you get to a point to where you're like, you know what? I don't have to play this game with you where we're acting like we're working on our relationship and we've never gotten along. So I'm really glad that they're at that place, honestly. Teresa said she was touched by Margaret's emotions. And then Margaret was like, but what I saw at the finale, it was disgusting. I was repulsed. I was shocked. She was all these things, right? Just dramatic. And then Teresa goes, I had nothing to do with that. You know, that's Teresa's. She never has nothing to do with anything. She never has nothing to do with anything. And that's what makes Jennifer and Danielle look like flunkies. You're the flunky. And then, and when she was saying that, she was like, I didn't have nothing to do with it. I was thinking to myself, yeah, because Jennifer was in Danielle's ear and Danielle was so thirsty for some tea. Jennifer finally told her. And then you felt like it was up to you to go tell Melissa because you care so much about Melissa, girl. Then Danielle, and immediately Danielle chimes in and says, "What show are you watching? She had nothing to do with it." Then how did you find out that a woman named Laura, who was Marge's best friend, who did you find that information from? Who told you that? Jennifer and Teresa? Okay. And Jennifer and Teresa, how did they get that information? Oh, because they've been talking to Laura. Why have they been talking to Laura? Why? So they could find out shit that she said to Margaret, or Margaret has said to her. And everything that Jennifer was saying, she was like, she's under the impression, girl, she said she's under the impression that you tried to keep her from you blocked her from the show. Margaret was like, y'all act like I run NBC and Bravo. And then Andy, he comes with the logic, right? Since you want to sit in delusion. Andy says, first of all, he says, Margaret said, I tried to get her on the show. Are you fucking nuts? And then Andy says, she tried to get her on the show. And then Andy tells Jennifer, don't you think if she tried to get on her show as a friend, and now she's trying to get on this show as an enemy, that the producers wouldn't eat that up? And then Teresa goes, yeah, kind of like with me and Melissa. You want to bring my sister on the show, girl. Did we just rewind back 10 years? Girl, 13 years, 12 years. Girl, they came on in season 3. What is this, season 15? Girl, it's over with. Just forget it, Teresa. Teresa is never going to let that go. You already didn't like the girl because you were competitive with her when she first married your brother. Nobody's good enough for Joey. You want Joey all to yourself. And now she's on your show, and Andy chimes and said she's cute, her husband is funny, and then the family dynamic, honey, that it was gold for Joe and Melissa to come on the show. Just like I feel like Danielle and her brother are going to end up on the show some way. And then Danielle really had the nerve to ask Margaret, does she know why her brother doesn't speak to her? I'm hoping you will come with something out of your arsenal, girl. And then when Danielle was like, y'all can make fun of me, y'all can make fun of how I do my hair, y'all can make fun of the way I talk. Can't nobody on that show make fun of the way you talk, especially Margaret, girl. Margaret's voice, honey, she sounds like she works in the diner down the street. Okay, nobody can make fun of your voice. Okay, lady. Dolores and Polly, have you changed? She says, my whole life she's had her guards up. Now she is in love. What makes this different? Is it the sex? And she was like, no, that's not it for me. She says that he includes me in his life. I'm a part of his life, and he's a part of my life. It seems like you don't have any interest with having Frank around. Frank there can't be two number ones, basically what Dolores said. Frank and I will always be family. How is it different from David? David didn't have her in any parts of his life. They literally live separate lives or whatever. And then, does Frank still live with David? He does. Her children still have a close relationship with him. She's glad that Frank and David formed a friendship. What happened to you saying, you wouldn't move in with David until you had a ring, and you moved in with Paulie before you had a ring? And she was like, it's different. His intentions are totally different. I guess she can tell like how he's moving, his actions. So we'll see. Paulie is not divorced yet. He's still on paper married. He's legally separated, I guess. But not divorced. And then they ask why, and she was like, probably because she was like, I think it was because he thought he wasn't going to get married, and so I just remained separated or whatever, which is a crock of shit. Get a divorce, okay? But now, if he gets married to Dolores, he's going to have to get a divorce. So, like I said online, I felt like Dolores's the line of questions that Andy had for her were really good. And I just thought about like, if he was asking those types of questions to Teresa, how would Teresa answer those questions? Again, because Teresa is that everything is fine, there's no problem. I don't think that if Louis was still married to his wife and has been separated for 14 years, I don't think Teresa would ever reveal that, because everything's fine. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, Teresa gives Andy the number to her psychic, and she's only $100. So to find out, I guess, when Ben can have another daddy. Danielle, what's up with your brother? she's it's still emotional when they show the package. How long haven't you guys spoke? She said 3 years, but her grandmother died and she's going to see him at the funeral tomorrow. And then she said that she sent, I guess they had a baby, her brother had a baby, and she sent a gift to the baby, and they sent that motherfucker back, bitch. I said, oh, he's not playing. He's not like Joe Gorga. We're going to play the game like we're trying to mend our relationship, but I really don't F with you. And I don't F with you to the point where I'm sending mail back. Girl, take a hint. Your brother does not want to fool with you, and it's not because he was making fun of you on IG. It's deeper than that. And if it's that, that he was making fun of you on IG and you blocked him and he got mad and that was the end of the relationship, then he's crazy. But I don't feel like that's the story. And even Rachel was like, that's the problem. You don't take accountability. Like you and your brother's relationship ending the way it did doesn't make sense for the reason that you gave. He seems completely irrational and unreasonable if that's the reason why he stopped talking to you to the point where he's sending gifts back. Girl, he don't fuck with you. Marge, what about the below the belt comments about, Danielle's brother not speaking? She says no, because what she explained was, because I said, she said it more than that, more than what they showed. I said, Margaret, every time she said something to Danielle, it ended up with, that's why you ain't never gonna talk to your brother again. That's why your brother don't fuck with you now. That's why your brother some. She always gonna mention the brother because she knows it is a soft spot for you. But in Ireland, when she said it was after Danielle said, I forgive, but I'll never forget. And she says, I feel like that's the theme of this show. And then Melissa's like, I could get a trophy for that because I do that all the time. And then Teresa like, I do that too. Both of y'all need to shut up because neither one of y'all forgive and forget. So shut up, both of you. But that is the theme of the show. This idea that, oh, I'm going to forgive my brother. I'm going to forgive what they did wrong. And I'm going to forget about it. And, just a couple minutes ago, Teresa's like, yeah, just like you brought my sister to the show. Season 3. Okay. Girl. And then they get on Margaret and Danielle, and Margaret was like, you flipped on me. I was trying to help you with your business and stuff like that. And then Teresa interjects and says, only reason why basically that she was trying to help you is so you can get on her side. And then when they went to Melissa and Danielle, Teresa said the same thing. Melissa was saying, yeah, I thought you were cute, fun, exciting. I wanted to try to help you. And then Teresa goes, yeah, because she was trying to lure you over there. See, Teresa is, girl, we could see it's clearly sides. I think Dolores is just over there by default because she's really cool with Margaret because she knows her friend from Patterson is Delulu Judice, okay? She knows that Teresa is crazy. That's why I'm like, yeah, Dolores knows that Teresa ain't wrapped too tight. She knows it. Why make friends with Rachel? She doesn't want to be my friend. Did you catch that? And then Jennifer was like, I don't think she does either. It's like, because you've already made alliances with Melissa, she's not going to want to be, even though you've known Dolores, who is close to Teresa, who's grew up with Teresa, and you're close to Dolores, you would think Rachel and Teresa would be cool, but they're not, because Rachel is cool with Margaret, right? I guess she chose the side that she vibed with more, and that was them. And Danielle, you and the gaggle of idiots, girl, stay over there, girl. They think they're better. I don't want to be nothing like you. Margaret, you were making fun of me the whole season. Margaret was like, no, you're doing great this season. It's the first season. You got your endorsements. And then that's when Jennifer had to chime in. I'm dripped in Chanel. I don't need endorsements. Andy, do you have endorsements? You don't. No, you don't, because you don't need them. Andy was like, she was like, I don't see you posting ads or something like that. Andy was like, I do it all the time. Girl, what are you talking about? That's easy money. Even Margaret was like, yeah, he does pajamas or whatever. What's up with you leaving the scenes? I knew she was gonna have to answer for that. Andy asked her, why are you always leaving scenes? And she said, because I was shocked in some of the scenes, I guess. She left like 3 times. I was shocked. I couldn't believe Rachel. I couldn't believe what she was saying and doing. It didn't seem like a big deal when you saw her. Margaret says that, it was very mild. What she saw wasn't that big of a deal. Everybody thinks that the fight over the way that the way that Rachel brought it back to Danielle was misrepresented. I don't think it was misrepresented. She said exactly what that girl said, and Margaret was not bringing it up every time. It was, what's her name bringing it up? What's the girl's name? Danielle. And then Rachel, after you called Rachel a rat, she kept bringing up the rat comment. Because it was like, once they dropped it on you that Margaret knows things about people and she knows things about specific people in the group, you are hell bent on trying to figure out who it was, to the point where in Ireland, you asked Jennifer, just tell you. And that's when Jennifer told you that it was Melissa, that it was a rumor about. I felt like Danielle kept wanting to know, like, what is it that Margaret knows? What is it that Margaret knows? She has an arsenal. Yeah, and even in the scene, the little clip that they showed, Rachel goes, I don't like the, like, gossiping or talking shit behind people's back. And then my whole thing is, why? And exactly what you did at the end of the season, where you felt like you got this rumor told to you, and now it's your duty to let Melissa know. It's your duty. Melissa needs to know. You went back and told Melissa what you had heard. Rachel did the same thing. She went back after a conversation she had with you, went back to Margaret and said, this is what they're saying about you, homegirl. She did the same thing that you did at the end of the season. So hush. I wish somebody would bring that up. They called a truce. Even after she said, your heart is black all in here. Girl, your heart is black and now y'all calling a truce? Okay, girl. Melissa's house, is it ready? The food has dropped the tiles in her house. Teresa's house is close to Melissa's. Rachel asking about the cousins. Are they close? And Teresa trying to, shift blame because Antonia had a cheerleading competition. What's funny is in season 3, when it was the christening, what's the little girl's name? Gia couldn't go to the christening. She went to the after party. Gia didn't go to the christening because she had a cheerleading competition. And Teresa said, this is in season 3, Teresa said she couldn't go to the competition. You can't miss 2 competitions. And then in fast forward up to here, why Antonia didn't go to Melania's little, party or Sweet 16 is because she had a cheer competition, and Teresa knows that you can't miss those competitions. So, or you get kicked off the team because your daughter had the same situation in season 3. That's the problem that I have with Teresa, is like, she acts like things must be done for her. Like, I don't know, like she's expecting a certain type of treatment. I don't know. It's fucking weird. What do you think about Melissa speaking to Antonia? Of course, Teresa says, oh, it's just for the cameras. It's just for TV. What did you mean by putting food on the table? I feel like Melissa tried to backpedal with that. I don't know if you're trying to say because filming with them put money on the table for them, and that's how we put food on the table. So I don't know, like, what you were trying to say, because if we didn't film with them, basically they would have lost everything. Teresa was like, I made it cool when I came back. See, that's the thing. She was like, I've been doing this for 10 years. And then Melissa goes, I've been doing this for 20 years. And then they said, Jennifer is hanging on to this thing that Margaret encourages Melissa to leave Joe. She was like, girl, I'm not telling her to leave Joe. I'm making jokes. I'm cracking jokes. If J-Lo can get A-Rod, your ass can get a fucking ball player if your husband wants to decide that he wants to act up. I think that's when she told the story at Jennifer Fessler's house, that's what she said. Yeah, if he's acting up, I'm letting my girls know, girl, you can get anybody you want to. Girl, what's wrong with that? Well, that's what Laura is saying. Laura is saying, girl, do you have anything that you know, Jennifer? Or are you coming with these duds from Laura? Every time you say something from Laura, it doesn't land. You need to cut it out. why wouldn't you want her on the show? I wanted her on the show. Andy said she tried to get her on the show. She's like, well, she's under the impression that you blocked her. Andy was like, go tell her that if she was friends with Marge trying to get on the show and now she's enemies with Marge trying to get on the show, don't you think the producers would have wanted that? Go tell her that. That's what Andy said. You did that to me when you brought Melissa on the show. And when Melissa said, you should thank us, Andy was like, yeah. Because I really think that's really what changed. You had two families on the show. This wasn't just housewives and the women don't have any kind of connection. The family dynamic on the show is what made New Jersey so popular. And so many people can relate to having this sibling, long-standing sibling rivalry. Like, you're never going to get along. It's not meant for you to get along. Just because you are blood, your personalities are different. You know, shout out to Rodney the Voice. He always says when people say, oh, I want to have a kid for my kid so my kid can grow up with somebody, right? I'm going to have another baby because, you know, now you guys are going to be together forever. The motherfuckers might grow up and can't stand each other because people have personalities and the personalities don't match and they have insecurities and expectations. Like, I really feel like Teresa, I don't know why this thing that she's expecting from Joe. I don't understand what it is. When you guys know you don't have the relationship that you're trying to make it seem like you're working to get to, it doesn't seem like it ever was that. That's what that to me, because y'all came on the show beefing. You came on beefing. So this wasn't something that just started in season 3. There are aspects, and that's what I be trying to tell the people watching the show. There are aspects of their lives we will never know, and how they got to being in consistent or always in conflict. Something happened and we're not going to know it. We're never going to know it. But what we do know is that this brother and sister don't get along. She does not like her sister-in-law. And Teresa doesn't have to like Melissa. And Melissa doesn't have to like Teresa. And I'm so glad that they're at the point where, bitch, we want to close the chapter, bitch. If I don't ever speak to you, I'm good. I'm tired of playing this game with you, where you act like you care about family and you really don't. And it's okay, Teresa. You don't have to act like you do. We know, we could tell by your actions. You don't give a fuck about Joe Gorga, and Joe Gorga don't give a fuck about Teresa Judice or whatever your last name is. And that's clear, and it's okay. And it's okay. Girl, she told Melissa, I'll see you. This is the last time we talking about this, because you're not gonna be here after this. Andy was like, well, bitch, that's news to me. When did you start running shit? That's it. Melissa is on her show. On her show. And she needs to be able to live in delusion without you shattering that by saying, girl, that's not true. We have invited you to dinner. Oh, that must have been another night. Oh, I just invited myself. Girl, shut up. All right, y'all, I gotta go. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. Hopefully we was able to get everything. Y'all let me know what you think of the episode. Let's get down in the comments. Peace.